Hi, it's Bob Hoopsher, and this is the Gaining Perspective podcast, where we bring you insightful conversations with some of the top thought leaders in the investment advisor profession and investment management industry. I am the founder of Advisor Perspectives and a vice chairman of Vetify. More advisors and firms are moving to fee-centric affiliation models, dropping their FINRA registrations and focusing on providing investment advice for a fee. What is the driver behind this trend? Today, we'll explore the models under which an advisor can move to a fee-based practice, the benefits, the changes from a product and compensation perspective, and the key considerations for those considering this move. The three main ways an advisor can move to a fee-based model are becoming an investment advisor representative of a corporate RIA like Commonwealth, the firm that my guest belongs to. The second way is starting their own RIA, or they can join an independent RIA. At the end of our conversation, I hope to illustrate the differences between those models and what you should focus on if you are considering a change in your affiliation model. My guest today is Alex Hansen. He is a senior vice president of RIA solutions for Commonwealth Financial Network. So, Alex, I'm going to have you start off by telling me a little bit about your career path, what led you to Commonwealth Financial Network, and your role there.
Great. Thanks for having me today, Bob. After law school, I was just really interested in the finance industry and in the business financial advisors do. So I happened to graduate from a school that was about 10 minutes from Raymond James. Got my first job there, worked in a number of capacities in both compliance and supervision. Had a stint at Citigroup in Tampa as well, learning a little bit about the wirehouse model in the consumer bank. And prior to joining Commonwealth, I was the CCO of Dynasty Financial Partners. So I think I've gained a really well-rounded view of the various affiliation models and ways advisors can engage with firms in the industry. And in 2021, I had the opportunity to move back from Florida to where I grew up in New England with Commonwealth, and the opportunity was just too good to pass up. So I've been here ever since, and I'm loving my time here.
Well, welcome back to New England. I live in Lexington, Mass, so I think we're probably not too far from each other.
Yes, I'm in Central Mass, but I go into Waltham for our days in the office.
So we're going to talk about a fee-based advisor model. Explain what is a fee-based advisor, how does that differ from a fee-only advisor, and are they both fiduciaries?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of splitting hairs, but there's a number of organizations in the industry who use fee only to describe advisors who only do advisory business for a fee and do not sell any commission-based products. And that's not just broker-dealer products, which fee based advisors don't sell, but also fixed insurance. So when we talk about fee based advisors, we're talking about advisors who only do fee based accounts, but they may have outside business activities like fixed insurance that would preclude them from marketing themselves as fee only. So they are both fiduciaries with respect to their investment practices, but they may offer some commission based products in ancillary business lines.
Great. So fee-only is a subset of fee-based that is more restrictive in terms of the products that they offer.
Correct.
What is the most common reason that an advisor would move to a fee-based practice?
For me, I think it comes down to simplicity. You're dealing in one main regulatory regime. You're acting in the capacity of a fiduciary. You're not considering both the rules from a commission based side and an investment advisory side. If you find that your practice is gravitating towards mostly investment advisory accounts and less broker dealer accounts, the next logical step is to look at your practice and determine if the number of broker dealer accounts justifies the regulatory responsibilities that you have from a FINRA perspective, or if it would be simpler for you and for your practice to consider the move to fee based or fee only practice.
So what types of businesses can a fee advisor do? What happens if they drop their FINRA registration?
There really is very little that hasn't been replicated on the fee-based advisor side. The insurance companies have started building fee-only annuities where the insurance company serves as the broker-dealer and then assigns the advisor to manage the sub-accounts post-sale. There's fee-based VULs now. The only thing that you can't do is sell a product that requires a Series 7 and pays you a broker-dealer commission. So from a product perspective, all the same securities are available to you. Even alternative investments, most of them would have a fee-based option that could be sold in an advisory account. So there's very little you lose from a straight up product perspective. What might differ is the specific subset of investments that are available to you. So not every annuity that's available on the brokerage side will be available on the fee only side. So you might have to find some different products or different carriers to use. But generally those investments are there on both sides of the house.
Great. And you referred to VUL, and just to make sure we're talking about the same thing, that's variable universal life insurance, right?
Correct.
So I mentioned in my introduction the term investment advisor representative, or IAR. What is the difference between being an IAR and an RIA?
So an investment advisor representative generally would join a larger RIA. So in each instance, the advisor, him or herself, is an IAR. It's whether you are with your practice joining a larger firm that you are not CEO, CCO of, or if you are starting that entity yourself and wearing those multiple hats, where you're the advisor, the CEO, the CCO, and running the whole show. So a lot of firms have both models, where they'll service RIA onlys as a service provider and IAR onlys as their registered investment advisor. So it's a little bit of alphabet soup. If you throw IRA in the mix, everybody just kind of loses the thread. But it's basically whether or not you are running your own firm or you are still a representative of a larger firm.
Wonderful. So, what changes from a compliance perspective once someone moves to a fee based model?
So, depending on the model, the changes will vary. I'll start with the RIA only. When you move from a dual, as it's kind of colloquially called, where you're a rep of a broker dealer and an RIA, to a fee based model where you are running your own RIA, you lose the compliance coverage of the firm through which you were registered previously. You are responsible for your own compliance program. You register with the state regulator, or if you're over 100 million, the SEC. You are responsible for responding to any inquiries from that regulator. You're responsible for developing a compliance manual, an ADV, a CRS, and monitoring that compliance program on a regular basis. Um, for some people, that's energizing. You own your own ADV, you own your own compliance program, you make the decisions as to what you offer and what you don't offer, and your fee structures, etc. For some people, that's terrifying. Having the SEC show up on your doorstep and you're the guy or the boss. For an IAR, really the functional change is you no longer have to keep up with the FINRA side of the house. Now, you're still going to be responsive to a firm with a full compliance program. You're going to have to do code of ethics. You're going to have to report your political contributions and all that stuff that you're doing today. However, you don't have to do things like FINRA continuing education. The structure of your branch examinations might change slightly. It's just a smaller subset of the compliance responsibilities you have as a dual.
What are the considerations that someone really needs to consider and weigh before they want to start their own RIA?
I think the biggest one is capacity. You know, there's a lot of time that's required for your clients, and your clients are probably the most important thing, the lifeblood of your practice. And every incremental responsibility you take on outside of the role of financial advisor is less time that you get to spend on the business and on your clients. So, do you have the people in your office who could help you with the compliance responsibilities, who could help you with running the practice from soup to nuts? Or is your staff running a little lean? Do you have to staff up and add maybe somebody with a compliance background or somebody with more of an operations background to help you with some of the things that maybe you don't have experience with? So typically what I tell advisors is there something that you're looking to do that an RIA can do that you can't do with the firm that you're affiliated with today? And those things might be more expansive marketing, whether it be social media or otherwise. They may be access to certain investments that you might not have through your current platform, things like alternatives that maybe aren't available on your platform. I typically call them a friction point. Is there something that is making you want to look or go in that direction? Because otherwise, you're taking on all that liability and all that compliance burden and all that time away from your clients for nothing. If there isn't something that you can't do that you want to do or that's core to your practice, you're just taking on a lot of extra work. Now, ultimately, it's your business, it's your practice, do whatever you want. But when someone asks me uh, why someone would go RIA, I typically point to what is it that you can't do that would optimize your business or bring you to that next level that being an RIA would allow you to do. And sometimes they have an immediate answer and it's perfectly clear and you go, "Yep, you should go RIA." And other times you go, "You might want to check with your firm. You might be able to do that and save yourself the 3 to 6 months of work it takes to stand up an RIA. Save yourself the ongoing headache of, you got 10 client meetings in a week and the SEC calls and says, "Hey, we're going to have a call on Tuesday and your exam's going to start." And your world's turned upside down. So it's really a consideration, and advisors who have questions about the pros and cons, I always suggest they talk to their peers and talk to the resources that they have with their own firm, or selfishly talk to Commonwealth, because we could certainly tell you about our affiliation options and how we could help you through that decision. But it really is a personal decision. It's what do you value and what do you need for your practice to grow?
That's a great segue to my next question. Uh, Someone who's looking at a 3 to 6 month ramp up period to start their RIA, tell me what a partner like Commonwealth would add, would accelerate in that journey. What are the trade offs versus just starting their own RIA and being completely independent?
I think having a partner just saves you so much time. It's almost it's a scale move where we have all of these wonderful SME subject matter expert areas that just act as an extension of your practice. So talk about navigating the compliance waters. I have a compliance consulting team that helps our Commonwealth advisors stand up their own RIA should they choose to. They don't have to go out and get a third party compliance consultant. We have an advanced planning team with alphabet soup of letters after their names that put mine to shame. That they're attorneys, they're CPAs, and they can help with complex planning issues and questions from high net worth clients. We've got a retirement plan services group that can help with the 401k business, a great wealth management group, research, all of these things you would need to cobble together if you didn't have a partner. If you're going direct to a custodian, the custodians are great. They offer a lot of resources for RIAs, but the curated group of SMEs is really what I think the selling point is. And I think we do a really good job supporting our RIAs and IARs. And as we look to lean in further to that business, we're always looking for additional ways to add value in that space.
If there's one key takeaway that you would like to leave with our audience of advisors about how they can assess whether they should move to a fee based model, what would that be?
I would say take a look at your practice and take a look at what's important to you from capabilities perspective. There's a lot of advisors out there who I talk to who could never see going fee only or fee based, because when they sit down with a client, they want to have the option to offer a commission based brokerage account or an advisory account. There's other advisors who their client base is really heavy planning, and advisory accounts and advisory relationships make sense almost unilaterally across the board. And it's those people where they don't necessarily even consider brokerage accounts anymore. And so it's really just a legacy kind of hang on from the way that they started in the business. And in that instance, it might make sense. It might be easier to go fee only or fee based, and they can hone their message and talk about how they serve their clients in a fiduciary capacity versus having that dual relationship. It really depends on the story that they want to craft and how they want to hold themselves out in the marketplace. But there's still a robust dual registrant business in the IBD space and in the wirehouse space. It's the trend is toward fee based and fee centric, but by all means, the larger segment is still the dual segment, and there's a reason for that because there's still a place for both types of business. It really comes down to the individual needs of the individual advisor and team. And if you have legacy products that you have sold to clients that are great and you want to keep offering those and they're not available on the fee only side, dual might be the right home for you for a while. But it's always good to pick your head up and look at the options out there and do a little internal survey of whether or not you have the things at your fingertips that you need to optimize your business. And that's why firms like Commonwealth are here to have that conversation with you and try to help you find the right home long term.
We'll include some links in the notes that accompany this podcast where you'll be able to learn more about Alex and his team and those who are with Commonwealth Financial Network. There'll be a link to Commonwealth's new guide called How to Navigate a Fee Only Path. And there'll also be a link to some more information about Commonwealth, about affiliation flexibility, and how to be the independent advisor you want to be. Alex, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, Bob, thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. I'd like to thank Advisor Perspectives and Vetify for the time today, and thank you all for listening.
And thank you for listening to the Gaining Perspective podcast with Bob Hoopsher, and today featuring Alex Hansen of Commonwealth Financial Network. To support our podcast, please share, subscribe, or leave a review to help make our podcast more findable for your friends and colleagues. You can subscribe to Gaining Perspective on your favorite podcasting service.